My hair's currently at a 21% height. They're at 24% jungle gravity of the time, up to 15 minutes. But that's an aside. ROCCAT now blue side. Huma picked red for this particular game. Last time around, ROCCAT banned Jax Calista Corki. Adjustment already as Huma.
See,
remove the Zir.
Godbro can play a Zir.
He can.
I wonder if Huma is afraid of either one, a potential counter pick from Betsy if they take a Zir early, or that ROCCAT would sort of first pick the Zir. But then I feel like you can put up or you trade like a Zir for a Poppy Nidalee or something like that, and you get like two extremely strong power picks for the Zir instead of banning it on red side, where you have two picks in your first rotation. Very early, Huma is saying we don't want to deal with this champion, and currently we don't want to play it either. Because again, Nidalee is open at this point. It was open in last game. Rudy picked it and
didn't do a lot with it.
Couldn't pressure at all. First of all, lane swap, and then he didn't maximize his farm as Nidalee, which is probably the worst thing you can do. So it is banned away this time around. Airwaks won't get to play it. Gragas is open for him. Poppy again, we see a lot as a first pick. We didn't see it in the last game. So Gragas could be a potential first pick for Airwaks if he wants to play that fantastic jungler again.
One game played on stage for Freddy on that Poppy.
Yeah.
More than that on Rammus. Just doesn't decide if they wanted to pick something a little different. The Lucian was a high priority for ROCCAT
Sivir is open
on
as
the right
well.
side, and as is Sivir was banned in the previous game.
Yeah. So a lot of good picks open here.
Flex Trundle.
Interesting with the flex. This is again, it's supposed to be a takeaway from Werlyb. Like we ban Jax, we take your Trundle. That's been like your two main split pushers to use. They apparently evaluate it so high that they don't take it over like a Sivir Graves or Sivir Gragas. Like Sivir Gragas now from Huma would be a very, very strong teamfight setup already from the first two picks.
Well, you can't really blame ROCCAT when you consider it was Werlyb's almost single-handedly turning the Challenger Finals against Copenhagen Wolves.
I feel like it's also ROCCAT kind of saying there are one player we're afraid of.
Yep.
And that is Werlyb.
Yeah.
So we put a lot of focus on him in the pick and ban phase. Obviously there are one AD carry ban and one mid lane flex ban against Godbro at the same time, but it's more the early priority on a Trundle pick here. And Lulu was open as well. A pick that was banned by Huma in the last game. Obviously there were a lot of good picks open here.
So one game played for Lulu inside Godbro's hands. We've seen none for
I disagree with that
top
rotation
lane,
from
but
Huma a lot.
ROCCAT now secure Gragas and Sivir.
That should have been the lock-ins from Huma. Because Lucian and Lulu, it looks fancy because SKT has played it a lot and like won a lot of games with it if you look back to Season 5. But it's a comp that can struggle against heavy frontline compositions because of Lucian's obviously fairly low range. It's hard for him to take down these tanks very effectively. And he needs to get like his 4, actually even 5 item point before he becomes that massive, massive threat even against the tanks. So I'm surprised. Also because Airwaks had a great Gragas game. Sivir is a fantastic pick for teams who don't focus on the AD carry being the carry itself. Sivir just has so much value. I think coming into playoffs of the EUCS, this is going to be like the probably most contested AD carry.
Sivir's back.
I mean, Sivir is back, and she's going to be picked in almost every single game. So I'm surprised Huma let that one go to play the Lucian Lulu comp.
It is good you mentioned that. We are on 6.5. We are not on 6.6. This is what everybody's playing on live at the moment.
Which obviously means Kalista gets nerfed in the next patch as well.
Hence the reason she was banned and picked so early on. Earlier today, on the side of Huma, they lock in the Thresh and the Kindred. So Rudy, going back to the carry roots with the Kindred. 3 games, actually. Undefeated throughout, I believe it was just the Challenger Finals. I have to look back for that one.
It's a very squishy comp, but that's where the Kindred ulti obviously has a lot of value coming in. But once again, it's
into Gragas as well. A little more
that's
difficult.
the problem. Gragas is one of the picks who does well into Kindred in team fights.
Yeah.
Because you can always just knock people out of that Kindred ulti straight away. Your entire team can stay inside the Kindred ulti at the same time. Janna can do the same, by the way, if they lock in this one here from ROCCAT side.
So Deficio or ROCCAT going to be looking to lane swap again. Maybe try mitigate some of the weaknesses of this Kindred. They've got themselves the Sivir Janna lane, so they can super push with that one.
Kindred is stronger than Gragas early, but I don't think it's not like a Nidalee Gragas matchup, so I don't think you have to lane swap here. From ROCCAT side, Sivir Janna is one of the most obnoxious lanes to play against because they will literally just push you 24/7. There's no brain in it. It's just push, 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 push. Oh, are you trying to do anything? Either spell shield or Janna shield and just keep pushing. A Ignite Thresh lane with Lucian would have some kill pressure, but again, it is so difficult to set that kill up against Janna Sivir. So if ROCCAT are playing standard lanes, because they want the Trundle 1v1 against whatever Werlyb is going to pick to top lane, definitely an option. But Sivir is very good in lane swaps. Like, that's one of the things about Sivir. She's fine in lane because she can push, but she's also very good in lane swaps because of the tempo she brings. She's so fast at clearing the waves, get into these towers very quickly, and then get slightly ahead every time in these lane swaps.
So the Poppy does get locked in here for Werlyb. Going to opt into their matchup. We know how it goes early, we know how it goes late. It is a very common lane. Huma have not got the greatest wave clear. They're going to be quite reliant on Godbro in the early stages. I mean, the culling is still pretty good.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay for them.
It's pretty
Huma.
good, but
They definitely don't think that's a weakness for them. I mean, they end up with obviously a teamfight composition, but you're into Trundle Gragas with the Lucian as your main damage dealer. That's where we're going to see in this game. We're going to see HolyPhoenix probably struggle to deal enough damage. So it's going to rely more on what can Rudy do. Does he get a fully stacked Devour very quickly? Is he actually a threat in these fights? Werlyb is able to dive the backline, get onto the Sivir, because once you get to Sivir, she's not really going to escape from you. And can you stick to her with the Iceborne Gauntlet? So there are options definitely from Huma, and I think it's less risky than the 1-3-1, you know, full-on snowball early comp they played in the last game. I like it more in that case. I just think the first rotation, when Gragas, Sivir are there and you have banned away in Italy, and Kalista, I mean, that's your first two picks instantly.
so we have to decide, or we have to watch this game closely. Will Lulu Lucian be game-changing for Huma? Hashtag HMA win. Or will Gragas Sivir combination allow ROCCAT to pick up their second win, get themselves one step closer back to the LCS? Freddie asked you guys to jump on Twitter. Team votes were in favor of Huma previously. Was it 66 or 67%? I can't remember.
And that's why these guys are watching from home and not sitting right here, because we kick off people who picked the wrong thing. First Mithy.
Kick them off if you make the wrong prediction. That's Deficio's policy today, as it turns out. But we'll find out how these guys handle themselves in game. I'm also very excited to see whether or not lane swap is going to play out, because ROCCAT got themselves a couple of steps in the lead. ROCCAT flag currently lit up. Will it remain ROCCAT, or will it get changed to Huma?
Well,
I'm about to find out.
it's a good point again with the swap. We can honestly sometimes just ignore the compositions and everything and just look at which team would be the best in a swap.
30 seconds.
And in the last game was ROCCAT. So they might say, you know, we want a lane swap no matter what anyway, because we feel like Huma is a weak lane swapping team. And then it doesn't matter what 2v2 we have, what 1v1 we have in top lane. We just think we are better as a lane swapping team. And that's obviously in a promotion tournament a very reliable strategy.
It is a gigantic advantage to have when you consider these teams have played nearly countless games in lane swaps, in scrims, when it is the name of the game. So look at this, lane swap shenanigans.
It's actually Huma setting it up this time, and now we might be in one of these situations where they're saying, all right, they're probably going to go top again and lane swap. We're going to play 2v2 because we have an offensive summoner as well on our support here, so we're going to take that 2v2. They're going to show up top now.
They're definitely going to do it.
And now they're going to be like, really?
Bugger.
You guys on the bottom side now? We're going to lane swap again? This is tricky stuff for Huma, and the guessing game is very difficult. So unless you actually do invade in and you try and find them, which is also difficult to do, it becomes very hard to 100% spot when it is a lane swap and when it is standard lanes. And they are going to find Freddy showing his face top lane. They're probably going to be disappointed.
All right, well, let's see how Freddy plays that lane swap out then. So he'll be the first one to find himself some trouble. You can see the keystones. No real surprises yet. Fervor on Rudy's Kindred. He's done that before.
Yep.
Warlord's Bloodlust for Tabzz on that Sivir. We know their career's doing that a lot more frequently these days. Seen it a couple times on Lucian, I think, as well. And the Critiche build, super core for Tabzz, get that lifesteal up.
Of course, I mean, a lot of the Koreans AD carry do take it. They like to play very safe. Value the sustain, where a lot of the European AD carries, when you talk to them, it's all about damage, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we don't want Fervor battle because late game, they're, what is it, 112 damage on the hits in the end. I could be slightly wrong there, but it's up close to it. It's obviously massive, you know, full stack. It's big in these late game team fights. Also, of course, Fervor battle on Rudy. After Devour builds came in for Kindred, it is extremely strong. They are looking for mid lane here. Betsy is around the bottom side.
Glacial Path,
And we'll
and
blow
that
out.
was just way too easy. Glitterlance will find Betsy, but there's no additional follow-up.
Godbro obviously only level 2 at this point, had no Whimsy just yet. Otherwise, when you set up this gang, you lose level 3. play aggressive, you see the ball, you whimsy her.
If
then
Rudy was Gragas from a first rotation pick, maybe flash body slam.
I mean, Betsy probably just flashed out, but yeah, I mean, sure.
Flash for flash.
If you look at it that way.
That's what I'm doing. That's going to be my narrative of this game. I want to... But I mean, you have to measure the impact. When a team prioritizes or like really early picks certain champions, in this case, it's the Lulu Lucian.
That was a pretty...
See how they work out. Freddy got low there.
Pretty strange kill on tower. They wanted to make sure it was bouncing, so they actually had all 3 members stay and kill it and share golds, and we didn't see the standard of give you a top lane and everything, but because again, as we talked about, Sivir and also adding a Janna makes it even better for her. She's fantastic at clearing and pushing in these waves so fast. Get to this tower very quickly. Freddy joined them early, so yes, okay, they shared gold, but now Freddy's just sitting and getting extra farm. And look at your minimap. Right now, Lucian just ran past the inhibitor. Sivir is already here at tower, which means Werlyb will get tower, but then he gets pushed off. Rudy's trying some cheesy stuff here and see if he can force Tabzz away, ends up getting a flash forward.
So that's going to be a little bit punishing on Tabzz if he decides to stick around. HolyPhoenix may be the next target.
They have to do it again.
Flash and heal, body slam, trade flash. So both ADCs.
Look top lane here. Pink was put
There
down.
Some wards. There's a teleport available for Freddy if action breaks out. Noxiak and Tabzz. There we go. Teleport's coming in from the troll. Noxiak's in a little bit of trouble. Rudy's left for dead. The pillar cuts off his path of escape. First blood picked up, donated to Freddy.
You called it. There's TP for Freddy. Obviously, the play in Huma's mind is like, we just forced the flash, we gotta do more.
Hold that thought. Betsy gets pinned against the wall, but he's not locked out yet.
He's even following them out.
God is coming out. Roots Kaas in place. Noxiak's looking, winding up the gale. Tags Kaas. A flash over from Freddy. He's got red buff and a pillar, and he's hungry. Chomping down on the cheese. Kaas is down. Kill secured by Betsy.
So again, for Huma, they're like, all right. So they were faster on the swap. If we stay here with our jungler, we can maybe force Tabzz away. That means we get some farm on Werlyb. Tabzz uses flash, and they're like, all right, so that didn't work. We got flash, okay, that's something. How do we punish it? Oh, let's go and gank it again. Not realizing the TP is obviously there for Freddy. And also some miscommunication look like. Because when the fight actually happened, Rudy jumped in when the rest of the team kind of jumped out. Like, look here. So they go in to see TP. Look at the lantern from Kaas. So to say, Werlyb, take it, jump out. Rudy's like, guys, I'm going in. Like, oh, okay. And then obviously he ends up dying 1v3. Super easy kill for ROCCAT. And then Betsy is trying.
He makes good bait.
He does make a lot of good moves here. Dodges the hook. Doesn't just kick you out of the door, actually follows you out of the door as well.
Also like Noxiak. Not the most difficult of predictions on that Howling Gale. Manages to make it stick. We're not done yet. Airwaks does not get pinned against the wall by the heroic charge. Rolls out the barrel, goes back in with a body slam. Summoner heal's been used, a double knockup from Noxiak. A flash forward, drops the keg down onto Rudy's head. Jungler's lives traded 1 for 1.
I like the lane swaps in this series here. It's not tower trading, it's just keep fighting around, you know, on the map constantly, but it's still gonna be another tower for ROCCAT. So like, Huma is trying to force fights instead of playing the trading game. It's just not really working for them because they are picking the wrong fights or not respecting TP. Bot lane, they are pushing in. Freddy's trying to pick up the farm he can, and they're gonna lose top tower now, and then ROCCAT can just swap to the bottom side again and start pushing for enemy tier 2, and they're very far ahead in this lane swap now.
2 towers to 1, 3 kills to 1, 2,000 gold already at 7 minutes. And then Freddy and Betsy are both running teleports. I think that's very crucial because Huma, like their comp I think is better when all of their parts are together. When you have Lulu plus Lucian and Kindred and running around. That's going to be difficult when there's 2 teleports to deal with.
I mean, Lissandra is a fantastic pick. She's one of the most... Okay, I'm not going to call her underrated because she's obviously rated very highly, but I think she's one of the absolute strongest mid lane picks because she also very often forces cleanse from the enemy mid laner. And then she runs TP every time. So you get a massive advantage here because you now have side lane pressure from Lissandra coming in, and she's obviously great when it comes to engaging fights. Will be a problem late game for Betsy against a Lulu composition with proper engages because bursting down that one target is not going to happen, so you ult yourself instead and you create a massive zone. But ROCCAT right now, very far ahead in the lane swap. Bot lane tower didn't even go down, obviously, because Freddy was there to defend. Huma tried to fight their way out, but here in Europe, we don't fight our way out of lane. We literally just trade towers over and over. We make our viewers fall asleep.
We do fight over Rift Herald.
That is one thing we fight.
If there is one thing that EU teams do, I think a little more free. Oh, Rift Tower's available? Let's group and go 3v3.
But, like, again, the mentality for so many teams in Europe, not G2, but a lot of other teams, is like, if we can win the game without ever fighting, that's the way we want to play.
G2 slowed down recently.
But got some kills there.
I mean, that's true, but
they are definitely the team who is looking to fight.
ROCCAT were looking to fight and working out in their favor. Pillar of Ice from Freddy will really just hold Huma in place. There's support from ROCCAT coming as Betsy was making his way through the jungle. He decides against it. Some pings there onto Betsy's position. He didn't actually spot out the pink ward. I don't think he walked into the bush. So Huma with some relatively good vision being cleared out. Thanks to, that was the Raptor buff. Yep, on the side of Airwaks. Walk in the bush, walk in the bush. The class, it doesn't, it's just...
You don't want to waste time walking in there.
Oh,
Rudy gets a stack.
Like, does get a stack.
If you end up looking and there's nothing, you just feel like a fool. It's better to not look and just ignore it. Because you never knew, right?
Double negative, double negative.
I mean, I feel like having to walk all the way in there, waste about a second.
It would have been 3. I think that's fair.
I guess because you have to kill the pink ward as well.
Well, then it's much longer.
Yeah, but so...
To check? Just to, like, go to check it? Well, Airwaks is going to secure his Raptor camp because starts off on the Brambleback. Even lane CS between Betsy and Godbro. HolyPhoenix has farmed up an advantage. However, he's down a tower and 2 assists and a cull. So Tabzz is going to get that little boost of income once 49 more CS is picked up. And Godbro's going for slightly more old school build, working towards the spooky ghosts. Something I'm seeing a little more frequently, but it's still not something I'd consider popular.
No, it's the Faker build on Lulu. I think it's the best build. Frost Queens into Lichbane. And you just speed around the map with so much extra movement speed, and you play again. As we talked about with Huma's comp here, it's going to be team fighting later, but early on, you want to try and catch people off a little bit. You have pretty good single target DPS. Use the Frost Queens on Lulu, her extra speed with Whimsy, which again here on 6.5 is not nerfed just yet. And you just slow one down, and you have the good single target damage. Rudy joins in. And it becomes very annoying to play against, because she will catch you out if you are slightly behind your team. Obviously, again, it's going to be hard for Godbro to go to side lanes because of the lack of teleport, where ROCCAT will have the double TP as highlighted earlier, so that's where it becomes tricky. And Huma might just opt into big team fights. Like, it is often the way out if you, as a team, don't feel like you have a macro game plan. It just becomes like, all right, let's try and team fight our way out. And that's where it becomes very difficult against this massive front line ROCCAT has built.
Interestingly, for both challenger teams that entered the finals, Huma and Copenhagen Wolves, that was the strategy that worked against Inspire Millennium. Inspire Millennium was sort of the macro, the map play teams who somewhat fell to pieces once their opponents learned. Once their opponents saw, oh, this is how that team plays around, let's force them into fights. And Huma and Copenhagen Wolves like brute force their way through the challenger playoffs. Now Huma unable to brute force their way because ROCCAT's individually matching them or bettering them over the past game and a half.
And also, it's just a big difference in the practice you've been getting the last, what, 2-3 months? Like, one team's been playing against all the best teams in Europe, over and over in lane swaps and in standard lanes, and have seen everything almost. Huma's been playing Challenger, so it's a big difference in practice. Gragas is going in.
He is indeed. The body slam connects onto Rudy. Defensive play from Huma. No summoners blown. It looked way more exciting than it turned out to be.
Well, nothing for Godbro though with this build, and that's one of the still very strong things about Frost Queens is on your first back, you know, when you get your first item there, you get so much mana regen very, very early. It's very cheap, get a bit of extra coming in as well. And Lulu is actually a very strong laner, so as long as you can keep playing aggressive in lane, you can keep pushing it and having pressure, and that's where the early mana regen pays off a lot for her. Everything else is just an added bonus, obviously.
Hey! Killing the pink ward.
Yeah, but this time he was actually walking this way around anyway, so it was pretty easy for him to just put in a ward and check.
A lot of information gained from here, but doesn't change the fact there's still 2,000 gold down. Tabzz and Noxiak pushing out the bottom lane. Freddy with teleport available. He's pushing in the top lane. So ROCCAT can now... they can now wait for Huma to pull a trigger and then just use their double TP advantage to turn something around. Or push towards a tower and make a proactive play themselves.
Well, right now they're waiting for the first item to be completed before they go super aggressive as well. Like, you want your Rod of Ages now on Betsy, you want to get your Essence Weaver on Sivir. So you're like kind of one back away from starting to play the map and set up this 1-3-1. Put Tabzz mid lane soon, put Betsy side lane, and just apply pressure on both side lanes. And Huma is forced to like engage on fight. Yeah, again, Lulu has a great early game with Coke coming in. Dragon is being started, will be picked up because also Gragas showed top lane, allowing Freddy to push out. Godbro might even stop him here.
Betsy's in trouble. Self-cast on the tomb. There's support coming from Noxiak in the middle lane. Betsy roots Godbro down. The Eye of the Storm Shield will keep Betsy alive. Howling Gale knocks Godbro into the air. Flash and Cleanse has been used. Blue buff is still around. Look at the support from Airwaks. Glacial Path comes down. Betsy's looking for a target. The Eye of the Storm Shield saves Betsy's life once more. A 2 for 1. No, Summoners is what I was looking at. They got a kill.
They got a kill.
2-on-1. There we go.
Godbro flashing in, trying to get it.
I mean, it was so good till the ending.
Noxiak was pulled away because it was a 2-for-1 fight, a 2v1 fight.
Thank you.
And now it means HolyPhoenix gets some damage on bot tower, won't be able to take it down though. So Godbro, he saw the kill right in front of him. Oh, he's probably in shop, you know, he's ready to buy the Rod of Ages. He's not gonna ult himself, I'm just gonna flash on him and kill him. Sees the recall, stops the recall.
Thought it was Smitty J.
Yeah, true. Betsy though is he's here and he's ready, and Noxiak is coming as well. So with the shield, Godbro is not able to burst him down. And therefore you end up giving a kill over to Betsy.
Very lucky there for Betsy, and Noxiak was as close as he was. Noxiak was just moving in towards that lane. And, the 4th kill now secured for ROCCAT. 2 into Betsy's hands, 1 for Airwaks, 1 for Freddy. And 100% kill participation for Noxiak on his Janna. Somewhat, you know, something you want to do on a Janna. Be involved, save everyone.
I think it doesn't matter which champion you play. If you can have 100% kill participation, you're pretty happy.
Yeah, that is a Captain Obvious thing to say.
I mean, I feel like it's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Maybe on a tournament you don't want assist because you just want to play push only, but Werlyb is going ham.
Yeah, he's flashed for this. Rudy's followed suit. It's a 2-on-1. Freddy's already used his flash and his subjugate to stay alive. Will get taken down as Rudy gets yet another stack on his passive. The rest of ROCCAT just putting some vision down and pushing bottom, but yeah, all in for that. That felt personal.
And Rudy right now sitting on 14 stacks for himself. Devour. Got 2 stacks as the Kindred. 14 Devour stacks, and now Godbro is.
Did you even see that one? Did you blink?
No, I was looking at the Devour stacks over here and getting all hyped up about that, and then Godbro dies.
Yeah, pretty much insta-give. No flash, no cleanse. Easy pickup for ROCCAT. So, at the cost of Freddy's life, they get another kill on Godbro, and they get an outer turret. Remember, they'll lose Rift Herald as well, but the EU teams, man, they might fight for it. So look, Airwaks is moving in. Body slam is available, as is Flash. Gonna dash forward. Gets the double body slam. Glacial Path follows forward. Eye of the Storm. Not available yet because Janna's just arrived. They kill off Werlyb.
I mean, your mid laner just died. You're like, Rift Herald, guys?
We can do it quickly. We can do it quickly.
That was
optimistic. That was an optimistic call.
Yeah.
Well, Huma give up their 6th kill. ROCCAT have got a 4,000 gold lead at 17 minutes.
I mean, your mid laner just died. And the enemy is standing in the mid lane. Well, another kill for ROCCAT. Did see still Werlyb together with Rudy. Have been a combination for Huma. They have to play around almost, but Trundle into Poppy. Poppy's never really getting the point where she's just gonna completely bully out the Trundle and become that massive split pusher we normally see from Werlyb. It's why Jax is being banned away. It's why they favor the Trundle pick so early from ROCCAT. Remember, it was the first pick. And now we are seeing a ROCCAT team who's been winning lane swap 2 games in a row. This one was Huma who did lane swap because I think they expected a 2v2 on top side. They expected ROCCAT to just lane swap again, and they're like, this time we'll get you. Sadly, the mind games coming in from ROCCAT.
I wish you guys could have seen the body language. Aha, I get you. You went like Sherlock Holmes on that one.
Yeah.
Throwing your hand in the air. It was good.
I want to be an actor.
With the waistcoats and everything, like it works. You know? Got that element about you. ROCCAT will sneak away a lot of damage onto this tower. Actually, may be able to pick it up. Alright, will survive just barely. Noxiak, Airwaks, and Betsy move away. They've got a 4,000 gold lead for now. 2 minutes until 20, and if they can go higher than 4K, That will be their largest gold lead in 20 minutes they've had all split long.
And now we just see exactly the same setup as last game. You know, Betsy's extremely far ahead on this his pick here. He can just go to side lane and push. Tabzz is on the fantastic AD carry duty. He played all of Season 3 with Lemon Dogs with. Being like, oh, Tabzz, you done laning? Okay, go mid. Push lane mid, do nothing else. Just push, push, push. Yeah, yeah. And then Nukedog was sitting side lane, and so Zero was sitting the other side lane. Just keep pushing and winning the side lanes. And
those were the good old days.
Good old days, you know, AD carries, they really enjoyed playing, just sitting, wave playing mid over and over.
Back in the day, best solo laners in the split.
And that is what Tabzz is doing again now, because that is his role in this team. And that's also why Sivir is so fantastic, because you don't need to give her kills or anything. She has so much utility, she's good at pushing in these waves, and she's very safe.
Wave clear and press R. That's why I play Sivir. It's concepts I can understand.
It's great, especially if your team wants to run a 1-3-1 setup.
Doesn't automatically guarantee victories, though. You still need to team fight correctly. Isn't that right, Deficio?
That is correct. I mean, you make some good statements today, Trevor, I feel like.
Yes.
You know, having 100% kill participation is nice on Janna. I agree with you on that one, and you have to team fight correctly.
Not true. Noxiak is not
it's not good anymore.
Because he's not 100% kill participation.
Yeah, he just had that 100%.
Yeah. Well, tower secured.
I just need to write down all these stuff, and I'm going to use it later.
We can make a series of grayscale motivational posters. Kill participation is good.
100%.
100% kill participation is good.
90% is okay, but it's not good.
No, it's not good. No, 90% is not acceptable. Regardless, the gold lead that has been accrued will be ROCCAT's largest, as you mentioned. Last time they dealt this kind of lead at 20 minutes was against Giants. We're into slightly unfamiliar territory because we've not seen how ROCCAT play with the lead in the mid-game to close up. Their Game 1 performance was very good.
Yes.
And now we need to see if they can do that again because...
I mean, normally in the LCS, it's get a goal lead early and then kind of fall apart. Do nothing for about 10-15 minutes and then fall apart completely late game.
ROCCAT's 10-minute numbers were good. And then from 10 to 20, it all went to hell.
Yeah, and then late game, it went really bad.
Yes.
Even in games where they were very far ahead. So it's one of the big things for ROCCAT. We heard Airwaks talk about it, you know, coming into this game, how getting a lead with Betsy is pretty easy because they have good synergy together, but they're not really using it to get the other lanes going. And then also, he didn't say this, I'm just adding the next part now. Also, the late game calling from ROCCAT was a big issue, and like playing team fights properly. As you just said before, Trevor, you need to be able to execute these team fights.
Even with Sivir.
Even with Sivir.
And
it gets easier.
Almost 100% kill participation, Janna.
It gets easier with the Sivir, but
joke already, I think.
Yeah, well, let's keep using it.
All right, okay, if you say so. ROCCAT pushing their vision significantly deeper this time round, but their lead is much, much more noticeable. And ROCCAT haven't needed to use those teleports since, well, actually since that big engage about 10 minutes ago where Freddy came to help out Tabzz. And
yeah, that was just like, I don't think Betsy's used his team yet. I mean, there's not really been anything
just in lane
before because you have been getting everything. Now you get the full jungle control. And again, this is what we talked about last game. Just repeating it, 1-3-1 in, you take control of the...
And great vision around Baron.
And it's very important as a team, you know, when you play 1-3-1. Find your strongest lane. So in this case, it's going to be the Lissandra lane. And play around that lane.
Scary. Airwaks doesn't commit, though, because only Janna behind him. Only Janna behind him. So nobody else around. Tabzz pushing up the middle lane. The 1-3-1 is in full effect. Airwaks is deciding where he wants to prioritize his time.
And at this point, you know, Baron is spawning. It is spawned already, so in a few minutes you can start threatening the Baron, and that's again where this is, it's a slow play obviously from ROCCAT. Keep that vision going, keep standing out of the enemy vision, because they're always saying like, oh, is they going, are they going mid now? Maybe I'm down top, you know, are they setting up Baron potentially? So you always have to at some point move in and check. Rudy is trying to chase Betsy, not gaining anything from it. Not gonna be able, but again at some point you have to walk into that jungle. You have to see like, okay, they're probably on Baron, we gotta go stop it. Use the blue trinket, 1, 2, 3. The fourth one, nothing you can do, you have to walk in. Maybe hook in Noxiak.
Noxiak gets caught, and Kaas unfortunately will not find anything else.
He's keeping the tower in place.
Walks away. But that was a tower defense maneuver.
It was.
It works out because ROCCAT do not commit any further. Rudy's still working towards Devourer, by the way. 23 minutes in, I think it's about 26 or 27 stacks. 25 stacks, in fact. No additional gains since the last time I checked, so fairly late, and still needs a lot more time before Rudy's damage is relevant.
And again, for ROCCAT, it doesn't have to be flashy right now. Just keep pushing in your lanes, get a bit of damage on every tower whenever you can. Mid tower right now is poked down to about 60%, so one more push, get it down to 20%, and the next one you take the tower and you take all auto turrets, and suddenly you're like 26 minutes in, you can start taking the Baron or forcing a team fight around it, because once Huma walks in blind to stop the Baron, with your double TP, you will have wards behind them. TP in from Betsy and Freddy. Smack. Team fight should be won pretty much instantly. It has to say smack.
24-minute cookie again. Betsy's a little bit hungry. Just of ROCCAT looking to get fed. Invading onto the blue buff. The Sentinel is the target. Werlyb. Steadfast presence will prevent any further body slam. Smite away from Rudy, but look at that pillar of ice. 4 members of Huma locked in place. The hammer will split up ROCCAT, and the culling does pretty good damage onto Airwaks, but it simply won't be enough. Tabzz in full retreat. This was all over a blue buff. All the while, it was a big team fight. Teleport and flash used by Betsy. Flash and cleanse used by Godbro.
Yeah, Betsy got interrupted by Godbro. He actually jumped in, interrupted him with Whimsy, but then had to flash away and cleanse after Betsy tried to kill him in that 1v1 on top.
ROCCAT somewhat overextends. Gets a little caught out in the jungle. They didn't have that teleport from Betsy complete, and Huma get the buff, but on the right target.
So this is just a little bit of the setup going wrong for ROCCAT, because it's actually a good play, because you have TP advantage on top side. Betsy just has to actually run back in the lane before this play even happens. So Godbro can just walk in and interrupt him like this, because if Betsy TP is in here, that's instantly 3-4 kills from ROCCAT, because it's a 4v5. Godbro is doing nothing on top side. There's no tower he can push. That's just the setup going a little bit wrong for ROCCAT. 5 seconds before, you say we're gonna contest this blue buff. Betsy move back in lane. You've already pushed it. Just step back in the bush. Out of vision, then be ready to TP in, and then we take this fight here. Or Huma is like, okay, we can't take the fight. Maybe Godbro here were calling, I can see him, so you can fight 4v4, you can contest the blue, because I can interrupt him. And that's where it went wrong for ROCCAT, and it could have been a lot more. And these are the kind of plays, again, you will get when you have this TP Lissandra in the side lane against a no TP user because of cleanse. Freddy is getting ganked. We've seen this before.
TP user. Freddy's a lot stronger than the last time this happened, and he's putting a lot of the hurt down onto Werlyb. The hammer will keep Freddy in place just long enough for Rudy to pick up the kill, get himself another stack, but at what cost? The rest of ROCCAT are grouped around the top lane. Last time this happened, Freddy died, ROCCAT got a tower.
And this is again where ROCCAT has been struggling in the LCS, and they're doing the same thing here. They're still ahead in gold, but they're reacting very slow. 2-man dive bot lane, Tap should have been top lane already with Noxiak, and 4-man push in on that tower, and you take tower for the 1 kill. Kind of hesitating, running between the jungle, being like, oh, maybe I have to go back and push another wave, or can we really do anything top? I mean, there's no summoners on Godbro. This is where you are ready.
Should have just committed.
Yeah, the call is basically from Freddy, like, push up every lane. If I'm getting ganked, you guys have to be able to take a tower. Like, you are 4v3 with no summoners on the Lulu, and we are 6,000 gold ahead. And ROCCAT is, again, hesitating on the call. They're not really in a position to punish, and it's another kill then for Huma, and they're getting a low bit, and it just ultimately it just kind of slows down the game. Where if ROCCAT were able to execute properly, Werlyb is getting dived now.
Is in a little bit of trouble. Betsy's the one tanking up the turret. Airwaks will have some support as Tabzz and Noxiak come running in on the hunt. Wild growth from Godbro keeps Werlyb alive. Body slam will throw Airwaks back into the fray, and Kaas looking for the death sentence. Flash, wind, and miss. No flay to fire off that time. Turret secured by ROCCAT. And they back away as Huma has the numbers advantage.
Get the tower a little bit later than they should have, and obviously lost the dragon for it. So it is technically 2 dragons for Huma, but we don't care about dragons. Because going 5 dragons at this point is going to be close to impossible for Huma. And then ROCCAT would have to make a series of mistakes for that to even happen.
And it was that dragon that gave Rudy the say to devour it. Our observers did show us that moments ago. Nice little animation. So there is some additional damage, but he's got to get through. He's got to get through Randian's Omen and makings of some 5k player wax maybe. Got make Iceborne Gauntlet on Freddy, and it's just this. It's so difficult for them to push all the way through all of that damage, while simultaneously trying to worry about Betsy and Tabzz.
Yeah, and it's small things for Huma they're getting.
Yeah.
By ROCCAT being a little bit slow, reacting around the map. Again, another kill, obviously, against Freddy in the 2v1, which would technically have Freddy doing his job, applying pressure and pulling down an extra member. Overall, though, ROCCAT are still ahead, and now we are at the point where we start baiting Baron.
Yep.
Obviously, we're 27, 28 minutes in.
Airwaks.
Set up that vision again in the jungle, push in the lane with Lissandra, and then put pressure there around the Baron, because you can TP in behind with both Lissandra and Trundle. And you want to take that fight sooner than later, because going late game, the further you get into the game, the more stacks are on this Kindred, as an example. Poppy obviously extremely tanky as well later on. It always just gives a higher chance of the enemy team actually coming back into the game.
Yeah. I really like the pink wards that ROCCAT have picked up this time around. 4 of them in the river around Baron. It's not super deep, but we'll give them control, know that they're safe. And that additional spot for Airwaks means Airwaks can buy a Bomby Cinder once he picks up a kill. Tabzz is going to run down Kaas. Well, Airwaks is going to pull support. Tabzz does get himself a kill before he's pinned against the wall by the Surge. Werlyb is now under threat as 3 members of ROCCAT are shutting him down. This is a fight on many fronts. A flash away as Freddy jumps onto Lamb's Respite. Rudy is moving out of the ultimate. He gets taken down. 3 quick kills for ROCCAT, and they can break open Huma's base.
Again, exactly the setup we mentioned here. Get the vision there. You talked about the pink wards in river.
Yeah.
Huma starts walking closer and closer, like they want to get close enough to pop in a blue trinket, maybe put over a ward on the side. But when you're against the Sivir composition, also Gragas to engage with Lissandra, it is very easy for ROCCAT to start fights. Textbook play here from ROCCAT, and Huma didn't really have much of a choice. It is what happens when you fall this far behind, when you lose the lane swaps, and you can't contest side lanes. With this Lulu into Lissandra, you cannot contest side lanes. This is not a replay, by the way. This is these guys' replay.
They're getting themselves out.
I can hear the replay.
I think somebody's just going to push a different button. But regardless, Airwaks is going to complete the Deadman's Plate with his Giant's Belt. And here's the replay. No.
Nope. No.
We're being trolled.
It's not a
Sorry.
replay.
Sorry.
Again, it's not a replay.
Apologies
Yeah,
to everybody at home.
Deadman's Plate. Can still get the Sunfire, as you said, if he gets the Bomby Cinder now with the Chainmail.
Just got ahead of myself. I wanted to see it.
Well, so this is the fight basically
It is,
starting.
yes. Kaas being focused.
Obviously, again, Huma is walking through mid lane, which is the correct choice, but they had to still push so far up the lane, and there's options of TPing behind from Freddy, so it's not purely a face check, but it's the play around it. And the fight itself, Freddy tanking up. Ulti being popped by Rudy here, kind of strange, honestly, almost saving Freddy in a sense. He wouldn't have died, but Rudy was full HP at the point he popped the ulti. Still, when you do want to go in and try and check the Baron, you got to push up mid first. It still sets up for their flanks. ROCCAT is in absolute full control.
12,000 gold up at 31 minutes. It is a matter of semantics as Tabzz can push in any way he wants. Freddy, even though he doesn't have TPs, down that bottom lane dealing with Werlyb. Look at this, Airwaks and Betsy in the top lane. Tabzz has basically played PvE all game long. Tower's going to fall. Airwaks will get caught by the flay, and we are looking to engage. 4 members up top, but look at the damage to the base. Tabzz has been able to put a lot of DPS into that mid inhibitor turret, about 70–80% of its health. And the rest of ROCCAT, they're not even backing away just yet.
And very easy for ROCCAT also to itemize in this game. We talked about the Gragas build before. Just stack a ton of armor, honestly. Yep. Kindred, Poppy, Lucian.
Yeah, no real. I mean, Lulu's going to have some magic damage, but at this stage,
that's it. But that's not relevant to make either.
Huge amount. Freddy's just going to try 1v2 here. He's going to fight his way through both Werlyb and Rudy. Backs away, finds the supports of Noxiak, decides to go back in, gets a chomp down the barrel, throws Kaas into Tabzz' waiting hands. Boomerang Blade may have the damage, but it won't find a target. Tabzz and the rest of ROCCAT turn their attention to the Nexus turrets. As the Baron buff is still wearing off. 30 seconds left on the clock. ROCCAT in commanding fashion, looking to close this game out. They got themselves a lead from a confident teleport play, and ROCCAT are just one dead Nexus away from re-qualifying for the Summer Splits.
And I think we've seen 2 games here where ROCCAT's pick and ban phase, in my opinion, is a lot stronger in what they're building here. The Lulu Lucian first rotation from Huma in this game, definitely not a fan of it. Giving over Gragas one more time in what you expect to be another game where Huma most likely will have to fight their way out. So it becomes very skirmish focused, but you don't get ahead early on to actually set up that skirmish properly. I love the Lissandra pick, force and cleanse. You play side lanes one more time if you're ROCCAT. You know, the 1-3-1 setup. And whenever there is a opening for a fight. You have Sivir ulti, you have Gragas jumping in, you have Lissandra jumping in. It's very easy to engage these fights here and just catch out Huma. There were a few mistakes in this game from ROCCAT. We highlighted them.
Yeah.
Not enough, though, to actually lose the entire game.
Not big enough to even give Huma much control, really. Right. One or two small misplays in terms of positioning in the lane, but Airwaks on that Gragas. Again, another game where he's in the right place at the right time. He's landing the barrels correctly, and you know, the Gragas Sivir, we talked a lot about it. We're going to hear from the analyst desk to talk about ROCCAT's second win.